everyone. Come on in. Good morning, morning. I just want to go over a few things that I heard last night, which everybody assumes is a bombshell new information. It's not a bombshell new information. Give me a second there, folks. There we go. So, in regards to the Cal City missing toddlers, Orrin and Orson West, aka Classic and Sincere, there's new video going around about all this new bombshell information. Bombshell information, which is not new bombshell information. It's been around, but it hasn't been spoken about in a while. Let me find the scanner. Hold on. They're talking about the bio mother. They're talking about Trezell West, Jacqueline West. Okay. Number one, they're talking about how bio mom lost the child. It's not new bombshell information. The child wound up with an injury on the leg while she was at work. The child wound up with an injury. DCFS got involved. An individual wasn't supposed to be around. That individual was stated to be around. And they brought up the cannabis, marijuana. Okay, and how she didn't have a recommendation at that point in time. Everybody knows cannabis was involved at that time. But if you think about it now, 2 years later, not even 2 years later, probably a year, less than a year later, cannabis wound up recreational. You know, so the cannabis, I'm sorry, but cannabis, it saves people's lives. Let's be real. It cures cancers. It cures many different illnesses. I'll throw the cannabis portion out the window. All right. Number two, they brought up about how Trezell is an alcoholic. We noticed that from when we were over there. You could tell that he drinks. And then the individual stated he was using methamphetamine. Now that's a new one to me. But I don't put anything past it. But in regards to that portion, have the adoptive parents been tested for drugs? Were they tested for drugs when this came about? Did DCFS or any of the law enforcement entities test them for drugs? My guess, most likely not. So, I mean, that's really not a big bombshell. It's been stated that Wanda West is a retired children's services worker, which that could explain a lot about how they would have wound up being foster parents. The other bombshell they brought up was that he had PTSD. We've known that since like day number 2 or 3. The part about the alcohol we've known since day number 2 or 3. But these are all big bombshells because they're being brought up by big YouTubers. I'm sorry, but they're not bombshells. that information has been out for quite some time, and I think the concentration still needs to be kept on the adoptive parents. There we go. It went blurry there for a second, folks. But I don't know what else the bombshells are that they're talking about, because there were no real bombshells in their information that they released last night. How many of you knew that he was a drinker? How many of you knew that she smoked marijuana? How many of you know that marijuana has been legal for how many years, medicinal-wise? It's been legal for many, many years. You know, I don't condone going and hassling, you know, either side of the family. I don't. Do I believe that they should all be questioned over and over? Yes. Because they know something, but it's not coming out because they don't want it out. You could tell from the first interview. I mean, I'm sorry, but anybody that can literally see out of one eye can tell by the way they carry themselves, Jacqueline and Trezell West, that something is not right from that very first interview. You had no emotions, you had no nothing. You had not one tear. The adoptive family still, they went on the news and they talked about, oh, how it's so horrible that they're being harassed. But still, to this day, they still have not came out and tried looking for or given any information to any media sources except for the ones that, I'm sorry, are basically Democrat run. The family has heavy Democrat ties. Heavy Democratic ties. And the big question that everybody has now, where is CPS? When is CPS going to come forward and give up information about when and where these boys were last seen? When is the last time that they went to that home and saw any of the children? And another thing I heard this morning, I heard somebody state that, oh, Jackie and Trezell are still getting funding from the children while the investigation's going on. Well, that would not be true, because monthly you fill out a form and you send it back to them in order for them to send you your check. And you have to mark on there what day is the last day those children were in your home. So the last day would show the 21st by what they state. They have both Democrat and NAACP ties. They are receiving no money for those children at this time. I have been a foster parent for 15 years. I fill out a paper every week, every month, not every week, every month. I fill that paper out and have to send it back by a certain date. Otherwise, guess what? I don't get paid. As a matter of fact, y'all see that? That's an envelope for Los Angeles County. You have to send that envelope back to get paid. And I know I'm probably going to catch slack again about bringing up the adoptive extended family, but somebody in that family, if not a lot of people in that family, know what happened. Don't go harassing them, don't call them and make threats, but it needs investigated all the way to the top. And I do have to say, Jamal Watkins actually has spoke with us a couple occasions via text message. The first one wasn't very nice from him, but we got past that. And I don't message him all the time. I've only messaged him a couple times about a couple different things. And a couple of the things I messaged him about, I'm sure he cannot answer it right now because of law enforcement and because of who he is. And the fact that I think basically almost everybody that goes through him has to basically